Welcome back, Plymouth North. Fall's in full swing, and we're glad to see your faces walking around the halls of Plymouth North.
In this episode, we'll be taking a look at the seniors' new painted parking spots.
Next, we will go around to the elementary schools to see the new faces walking around.
Finally, we're putting the spotlight on Mr. Cardoso by taking a look at his summer travels.
Get ready, Plymouth North.
It's time for PNN. We hope you've had a good start to the school year and enjoyed the nice 3-day weekend. I'm Connor Jepson.
And I'm Ethan Hogan. In the first normal school year since 2019, many Plymouth North students have been looking for a way to enjoy it. New traditions for seniors have already begun here at Plymouth North.
Starting with this year's seniors being given a brand new opportunity that should become a tradition for years to come. Seeger and Jordan take a look at what has been going on just outside our walls in the back parking lot.
The 2023 PNHS class officers have orchestrated many different fundraisers over the years, ranging from chocolate sales to tailgating events. But this year's seniors are participating in a new, more interactive fundraiser. Seniors were given the opportunity to personalize their own parking spots in the back lot by painting them with their own unique design.
So it kind of all started with the design that we had to submit to Miss Walcott to get it approved, which was like our rough sketch. Then we went out and bought the materials, chalks, paints, anything that we needed to trace, and then we kind of came here, traced it out, and then laid down the paint.
Seniors who opted to paint their parking spots completed an application with a $20 fee for the fundraiser. Senior class advisors Mrs. Walcott and Mr. Hales assured that the money raised will be put to good use.
It's all going back to the senior class, like end of the year. Yeah, I'm assuming most of it's going to be end of the year stuff, for your prom or your dinner dance.
The seniors then submitted sketch designs of their ideas for approval. The next step was for the 17 artistic seniors to come to North on Saturday, September 17th to paint their designs.
Well, what I love is it gives kids the opportunity to put their own mark on our campus. Like, one of the things when you drive around is you see this is a beautiful building, but what you don't necessarily see is kids' individuality. And what I think I saw when I walked out there today, and I saw from what happened on Saturday, is kids are able to put their own stamp on a little piece of our campus.
This is a wonderful new opportunity for Plymouth North seniors, and we can't wait to see what other traditions the class of 2023 leads the way with. Don't forget to stop by the back parking lot, and thanks for tagging along. Reporting for PNN, I'm Seeger Crean.
Thanks, Seeger and Jordan. It's great to see new traditions like these being started right in front of us. Speaking of changes, new safety precautions have been placed in the elementary schools in Plymouth. School resource officers have been in the middle and high schools for a while. Now, these officers have been added to the elementary schools as new steps to keep people safe.
For many decades, resource officers have worked in Plymouth middle and high schools in order to ensure safety and security, as well as establish a trusting bond with the student body. This year, Plymouth Public Schools have decided to expand their use of school resource officers by having 2 officers rotate through the 8 elementary schools. The decision to place SROs in elementary schools was announced at the beginning of the school year. Superintendent Dr. Campbell's priority is to ensure safety and security in the district.
The school resource officers, as you know, have been in place in the secondary schools for many, many years. The opportunity came up this year with the Chief of Police to expand the SRO program to our elementary schools. So we have 2 SROs that rotate through our 8 elementary schools, so they'll spend half a day in 2 schools and they'll rotate through. They're not there to police, but they're there to act as a level of services and support for the schools.
With the overwhelming recent tragedies within schools in America, the district's main goal is to protect students.
We thought it was definitely the right time to put the SROs in the elementary schools. While they're there, they're not just being police officers, especially at the elementary school level. They're mentoring, they're teaching, they're giving the high fives. Most importantly, hopefully, they're giving the staff and the students a sense of security.
I think first of all, it's reassuring for all of us as adults, and I think the students as well, to see the police officer around and part of the community. I think it's reassuring itself, and it's great for communication between us.
It's important for our youngs to understand the role that police officers have in our community and how they can be a very positive influence in our lives. So it's always good to start that early.
To be honest, I love patrol. I love being on the road, but I was looking to do something different for a little while. Primarily, my goal is to provide security for the schools, whether that's actual in the physical sense or having the children feel better of having a police officer present. I just finished it's called the NASRO, N-A-S-R-O, basic SRO course, and that's a 5-day course. It's pretty intense. Basically, you're going to school for 5 days and you're learning what the expectations are from the law enforcement side of being a school resource officer.
Although the officer's main responsibility is to protect staff and students in the elementary school, it is also very important for them to build connections with their students.
If I champion one child who needs assistance and I'm that person that's there when they need them, they'll remember that. I was joking with another officer earlier today. It's like the closest I'll ever get to being a celebrity is when I walk into the lunchroom. It's pretty amazing.
We are so thankful to welcome these new officers to our school system. We can't wait to see the bonds they grow with their students. Reporting for PNN, I'm Lucy Woomer.
Thank you, Brenna and Lucy. We can't wait to see how the relationship between the schools and the police department develops. Next, we take a peek into the interesting life of our faculty members. Math teacher by day, explorer by night. That's right, one of our very own teachers is quite adventurous on his time away from school. Maeve and Parker have more on Mr. Cardoso's recent trip to Mount Kilimanjaro.
Mr. Cardoso, a math teacher at North, teaches geometry, algebra, computer science, and is the faculty advisor for the GSA Club. Students regard him as a bright presence in the classroom, but many don't know about his life outside the walls of Plymouth North. While Mr. Cardoso loves teaching about the rigid geometry of the outside world, he'd much rather experience it for himself. Mr. Cardoso travels all over the world during the school year, and most recently, he made a trip to Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania.
I believe I first showed interest in climbing Mount Kilimanjaro when I saw it when I was visiting about 5 years ago from the canyon side. So I just remember seeing all the wildlife, and in the background I could see Mount Kilimanjaro with its snow cap. But what really made me want to climb was after visiting Nepal and seeing Mount Everest. I joined a group of 13 other travelers from all over the world. There were other Americans, there were people from Poland, Denmark, Belarus, Holland.
Long hikes like these aren't just a summer activity for Cardoso. He makes adventures like these a part of his weekly school routine. He's even traveled to Iceland on the weekend during the school year.
It can be very challenging. It definitely requires some preparation. So sometimes during the week when I'm not traveling, I stay here at school long hours, make sure that I get everything done.
Mr. Cardoso's ability to balance work and travel has inspired the North community. He's even traveled with fellow math teachers like Miss Felino.
You know, like his worldly experiences just makes him a more holistic person. He's able to see things that most people don't, and to be able to see it in real life, it just it gives you a whole new perspective, and it makes him just like a better person overall. We just recently came back from Belize. We did a scuba diving volunteer program together. And I think that our next adventure is gonna deal with scuba diving again. We both, it relit our love for volunteer and for scuba diving.
Not only does Mr. Cardoso's adventurous lifestyle affect his colleagues, his travels also become lessons in his classroom.
What I like to do after each trip, I like spending time in my classes and sharing some of the things I learned. I feel that My job as a teacher is to always try to educate our students in a way that they are aware of the different cultures and some of the things that is waiting for them out there. I hope that by sharing those experiences, I kind of raise their interest so they can travel, because there's just so much out there, and I see that many of our students sometimes haven't even left the state.
Mr. Cardoso's adventurous nature inspires his teaching and classroom atmosphere. It's exciting to see a teacher at North with such grit and heart going out and exploring the world. We hope you stay tuned for updates to see where Mr. Cardoso travels each week on our Instagram as we track his adventures beyond Plymouth. Reporting for PNN, I'm Maeve Campbell. Mr. Cardoso went to Spain last weekend and is preparing to travel to Dallas, Texas this upcoming week. Be sure to follow us on social media for updates to see where he'll be next.
Thanks, Maeve and Parker. It's so interesting to see a teacher in such a unique setting. I can't wait to see where he goes next.
Now, Plymouth North, get your earbuds out because it's time for hall walking. On this episode, we asked you what your favorite album of all time is, and you didn't disappoint.
The greatest album of all time is Love Is Rage 2 by Lil Uzi Vert.
You gotta think, that's a tough one.
But yeah, that's a good question.
Well, a good friend of ours, Hunter Byron.
Yeah, Hunter Byron recently put us on,
what is it?
The Beethoven Moonlight Sonata. Hunter Byron, then
Classic.
Classic one.
GOAT album, Watch the Throne.
Feel what I'm saying? You know you always gotta get right. So
Always right.
The album, GOAT album, you know what I'm saying? Probably 2018, Lil Baby Harder Than Ever. Get right, get right.
College Dropout.
Red, Taylor Swift.
Okay, so my favorite album is Come Home, The Kids Miss You by Jack Harlow.
My favorite album is 2014 Forest Hills Drive by J. Cole.
All right, my favorite album of all time, because I was 39 last Friday, is Roy Orbison's Greatest Hits. Easy.
My favorite album, Nirvana, Nevermind.
My favorite album is Beer Bongs and Bentleys by Post Malone.
My favorite album is Taylor Swift by Taylor Swift.
My favorite album of all time is Rodeo by Travis Scott.
My favorite album is Take Care by Drake.
Favorite album, Back in Black, AC/DC.
My favorite album is
Roy Orbison's Greatest Hits, Pretty Woman.
My favorite album's got to be 2014 Forest Hills Drive.
I'll go with the 68 Comeback Special by Elvis.
Yoda.
Kendrick Lamar, Humble.
My favorite album is Open Up and Say Ah by Poison.
My favorite album is Diamond in the Rough by Arik.
Alone at Prom by Tory Lanez.
My favorite album is 404 by Barnes Courtney.
My favorite album is Donda by Kanye West.
My favorite album right now is Alone at Prom by Tory Lanez.
Our favorite album is Kids by Mac Miller.
Really glad. My favorite album gotta be Starboy by The Weeknd. That album is calm, bro. It's so good. It's so good. Thank you.
Big Miley Cyrus fan.
Reputation by Taylor Swift. Listening to it right now.
All of her albums. Every single one.
Every single Taylor Swift album.
Yep.
Our favorite album is Planet Her by Doja Cat.
And I also like Drake.
Yup.
So for my favorite album, very tough question. I would probably have to say hold on, just let me think for a second. Okay, I'm gonna say Graduation by Kanye West or The College Dropout by Kanye West. But for a close third, Acid Rap by Chance the Rapper. Very dynamic and intricate album. I love these three. Thank you.
Well, there definitely were some interesting choices.
There sure were. What's your favorite album?
I like Sour by Olivia Rodrigo.
Interesting. Mine's 2014 Forest Hill Drive by J. Cole.
Ooh, that's a good one. Now, let's shift over to news and notes.
Are you feeling stressed? Take time to wind down during K-Block at Mindful Moments in Miss Cartmill's room 225 on Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays.
On Tuesdays after school, feel free to head on over to 322 for Chess Club. Ask Mr. Hales or Mr. Perlow for more details.
On Thursdays after school, you can go and have some fun at Game Club from 2 to 4 in room 108J.
Crochet Club meets in room 338 once or twice a month on Thursdays. You can find their posters around the halls for more information.
If you're looking for something else to do after school, our club is meeting from 2 to 4 every Thursday in room 125. You can show up there any week and there's no commitment.
Looking forward to the future? The College Fair will take place on Tuesday, October 18th here at Plymouth North from 6 to 8.
Tell your parents that they're invited to open house on Thursday, October 20th at 6 p.m. Your family has a great opportunity to learn about your school day.
Student picture retakes are on Wednesday, October 26th.
That's all for news and notes, as well as this episode of PNN.
Make sure to follow us on Instagram at PNN_2023.
Until next time, thanks for watching.